when I don't know what to say at this point. I can't even open the show with our usual opener. I'm pissed off after what I saw today. This is the J&J Houston Sportscast. I'm John Fuentes. This is James Ray.
Yo, what's up?
You know, is it too early for us to say we told you so at this point? I mean, this game against the Colts today pretty much confirmed everything we've been saying for the past several weeks about this team. Now, I don't know if you disagree with me or not, James, but a big chunk, I'll say about 70% of the blame I'm putting on coaching today. And I know people get tired hearing that week after week after week. But
we get tired of saying it.
Exactly. And the reason we keep saying it is because it is true. Week after week after week. Bill O'Brien, look, I've seen in the media people praising Houston's run game. This run game, oh, they got the run game going. They got the run game going. They got the run game going. Okay, what do you have after that? Not a damn thing. Not to mention, do you really have a run game? Really? With Lamar Miller, who's more effective as a receiving running back. And congratulations, you have a run game in 2019. This is a passing league. The days of Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, all those guys, gone. You don't have a Saquon Barkley. You don't have a Melvin Gordon. You don't have a fella for the Rams, Gurley. You don't have a player like that in the backfield. What you do have is a Deshaun Watson. What you do have are two all-pro wide receivers. What you do have are two tight ends who have proven effective in the passing game. That's what you have. And you don't use them. Instead, you rather run and push the ball down the throat of the defense. But when that stops, what do you have? Nothing. Because you've established this team's culture as a running football team with a lackluster offensive line and a running back who is not a pure runner. This guy is more effective catching passes out of the backfield. That's his niche. You have everything. It's like you have the recipe to make a badass pasta, but you're trying to make salad. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay? Yeah. And week after week, I know people get tired of hearing it, but it's the same old story. The play calling has been terrible. This game was winnable. Andrew Luck is a great quarterback, and I'm not saying he's on the same level as Tom Brady, but he has the same tendencies as Tom Brady to where he makes his receivers good. Name me one receiver on that Colts team other than T.Y. Hilton, who isn't really that good outside of NRG Stadium.
Pascal.
That's it. Who? Okay, he makes his receivers good. This defense, I don't know what the hell that was today. Okay, at this point, I was on the Romeo train, whatever. Screw all that. Clean house with coaching. And this isn't a likelihood. This isn't going to happen. But with a new owner, there's a better chance that it could. But even at that, it won't. Clean house with the coaching staff because you're not winning a damn thing this year. This guy, everyone was saying, oh, he's waiting for the playoffs to unleash the passing game. He's just waiting for the playoffs. He's not waiting for the playoffs. He doesn't have a pass game to use. He doesn't know what to do with the guys he has. Instead, he's going to try and push his culture on this squad right now instead of trying to accommodate to the skill players you have at your disposal. I am not going to walk onto the Patriots and run the ball on first down every time. Because that's not how the Patriots win games. The Patriots have Tom Brady. The Patriots have Julian Edelman. The Patriots have Rob Gronkowski. And what do? They use them. What do the Texans do with their 2 all-pro wide receivers and their tight ends and their highly touted prospect out of college in Deshaun Watson? Run the ball with Lamar freaking Miller. I was on the train of maybe these guys can do something this year in the postseason. At this point, I don't think they beat Baltimore. I don't think they beat the Chargers. Hell, they aren't going to beat the Colts if they match them in the wild card. They sure as hell ain't matching Kansas City, and they sure as hell ain't matching New England. What we saw today from the New England's game and from Kansas City's game is that both of those guys are beatable. And this roster is more than capable of beating those teams. But with the coach we have calling the shots, we're not going to. I guarantee you we're going to lose 2 of our last 3 games. And when we get it on the wild card, we are going to have a first-round exit, and we're going to get embarrassed by whoever we play. I don't care if it's Denver. I don't care if it's the Chargers. I don't care if it's Baltimore. I don't care if it's some lackluster second-place team from their division. We are going to get embarrassed because we don't show up to play the way we should. This team does not play playoff football, and they're not going to anytime soon with Bill O'Brien at the helm.
And John was at the games, guys. I was at the game today.
I was at the game, and let me tell you something. I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. I think this guy's going to be awesome in the next few years, whatever. But today's game really, I lost a lot of faith in him today. Because he missed so many wide open passes, he decided to go to a check down rather than a guy that was wide open down the field. When he did have someone wide open down the field, he missed the pass. The guy holds on to the ball way too freaking long. And honestly, I don't think he can read a blitz. I think the guy struggles reading defenses. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but at this point, I don't see this team winning anything of significance this season. I'm still fully on board with don't wait till next season, win this season. Bill O'Brien, get your head out of your ass. Use your guys to the capability they can be used, but he's not going to. Because he's stubborn, and he thinks he's God's greatest gift to football, and he thinks he's the second coming of Belichick. When in reality, he's just another overrated head coach out of college. That's all, honestly, I can really say at this point.
Well, John, good to have you on board. I felt like we were going different paths, and I'm glad you were brought back down to reality from last week. I told you guys. I said it on this stream. I said, I don't care what game you lose, just don't lose the Indianapolis game. That's all I said. I said I'll be on board if they beat Indianapolis by at least 10 or 14. That didn't happen. And instead we go out and get embarrassed yet again against an upper echelon quarterback. How many times, Texans fans, do you have to see it? Every time we go up against an upper echelon quarterback, we get destroyed. Again, here's my next question. T.Y. Hilton has had a history of destroying you. He's even injured for the most part. And yet, 200 yards later and 10 catches later, he's beat you single-handedly almost. Why? Because Romeo Crennel decides to run zone 15-yard splits and not bump him at the line and get his timing off. I will say this about Bill O'Brien. It seemed like after the second half, he adjusted his play calling, but the first half, it was the same old. It was the same old shit. I blame this loss on 3 key elements, and there's no other way of putting it. Watson had, considering what he's been doing, probably one of the worst games I've ever seen him have, quite frankly. The O-line, for as great as we've been saying, oh, well, they're starting to come around. They got embarrassed today. Embarrassed. And Romeo Crennel, retire. Please retire. I've been saying this since beginning of last season. His bend but don't break defense disturbs the shit out of me. And now you know why. Because anytime they play an upper echelon quarterback, his defense gets torched. Period. And that's throughout the history of his coaching career, if you actually go back and look at it. Can't do it no more, man. I told you guys. I sat here and said it. I said I would rather them lost to Cleveland last week and beat Indianapolis this week, because now that Indianapolis has won, it opens up the entire division. The entire division is still in play now. You split with Tennessee, you split with Indy, and based on what happens with Jacksonville, not only your game, but Jacksonville and Tennessee game, what do you think is going to happen? We could very possibly go 10-6 and lose our fucking division. That's how important this game was today. The most important game of the season, and they botched it. They didn't show up to play. They weren't there at all. I watched the whole game. I watched most of the game. I kind of cut it off right when they started doing their comeback. And the only reason I know about that is because I have like updates on my phone. But for the most part, the defense looked like deer in the headlights. They were confused. They didn't know what the hell to do. Honey Badger didn't have his swag that he normally has. JJ Watt and Clowney combined had a one quarterback hurry through the first half. First half, guys. I don't know how else to put that to you. And their offensive line is pretty decent, but Anthony Costanzo, a career shitty tackle, stonewalled Jadeveon Clowney most of today. Where was JD? Why didn't JD show up? He's $100 million guy, you guys. He's a badass, right? Where was he today? Most important game of the season, he don't show up.
He showed up at the end of the game.
Oh yeah, well, fuck, trash time. Really? Give me a break.
No. I don't know if you watched. I don't know if you watched the whole thing, but the one chance they had at the end was to get the ball back and get a drive.
Oh no, with his offside.
Yeah,
his offside. Yeah. Well, again, that's indicative of someone who's mentally not there. Who doesn't care about the team, really only cares about himself. And if you think that's a joke, go back and watch when he's sitting on the ground, sitting there staring at the camera, and K-Jack goes to extend his hand to pick him up, and he slaps K-Jack's hand away. That's all you need to know. Again, how many times must I be right? How many times must I tell you guys? How many times must we tell you guys? What we have here is great players and shitty coaching. Period. On both sides of the ball. And I'm with John. It's probably not going to happen, but clean fucking house, dude. Clean house. Call Lovie Smith. Call Mike McCarthy. Call Chuck Pagano. Call anybody. Call anybody that has an innovative defense and an innovative offense. Bring him here and watch what the fuck happens with the players we got. Watch. We'll be looking like it's not St. Louis anymore. We'll be looking like the Rams. You give us an innovative offensive genius that doesn't get out of his own way and has too much pride. Same with Romeo Crennel, 20 years of pride working against him. And here we go. We'll see what happens. But it's not going to happen. I'm not even going to sit here and say what was good and what was bad, because to me, the whole game was fucking bad, period. Other than the tight ends getting into the game, which I was very pleasant to see, and we didn't go back to that, which was baffling. See what Griffin and every tight end got into it today. Other than that, there was no good spot in this game. Even the special teams sucked. I mean, that's just reality. I don't know what you guys are wanting. You're wanting a positive out of this. The only positive I can say is Watson played like shit and we still almost won. I mean, if you want to go that route. But I'm tired of moral victories. I've been done with that for 2 years now. 5 years in, this should not be happening to us. That's all I got for that.
Jadeveon Clowney, a lot of things that happened today have swayed me in a lot of different categories, one of those being Jadeveon Clowney. was rooting for him. I believe that he is. I still believe. I'm not going to take anything away from his skill, as far as that he's a great run stopper, as far as that he can get to the quarterback when he tries. But I maintain that he does not love football. That he's in this for the money purely.
Yep.
Purely. A guy so athletically gifted who could honestly be one of the greatest of all time if he tried. He is so gifted.
You put Clowney's athleticism with Watt's never quit mentality and motor, and he would be better than Watt.
Exactly. And you're asking for Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack money. Let me tell you something, buddy. Tune in tonight when the Rams play the Bears.
Yeah.
Watch what Khalil Mack does. Watch what Donald does. You're nowhere near on that level. Nowhere near. You have no right asking for that amount of money. And neither of those guys would pull the shit you did today.
Nope.
Neither of them.
Nope.
It was embarrassing. We are the laughingstock of the NFL on social media. If you look at some of the highlights being posted on Twitter, no one took us seriously even when we were on this 9-game win streak. Everyone saw this for the farce that it was, except for the homers.
Yep.
And I hope this game really opened up everyone's eyes and showed you what we have here. It's what we've been saying since this win streak started. This was fool's gold. This was a team with all the talent in the world that was being coached by the Three Stooges. That's what this was. So I'm at a loss for what's next, for what to do. I maintain, regardless of who we draft, regardless of what we do in the postseason, we aren't going to win anything of significance until some serious changes are made to this coaching staff. You re-established and refreshed the culture of this offense when you drafted Deshaun Watson. Now you need to do the same thing for the coaching staff.
Yep.
Because it's always something with this team. If the defense is good, the offense is terrible. If the offense is good, the defense is terrible. If both things are looking pretty, your coaches suck and don't know what to do with the guys they have.
And if all that's working, your special teams isn't cutting it.
Yeah, and I don't think we've even been at that point. So, I don't know, man. I'm like I said, I'm fully expecting to lose 2 of the last 3. I'm fully expecting to exit the first round of the playoffs, and whoever we play, we're gonna get stomped out. I think we lose by plus 20, and I'm not just being sarcastic. We don't have we have the firepower. We don't have the guy at the helm to make those kinds of calls. We're going to go into the playoffs, and Bill O'Brien's going to do what Bill O'Brien does. He's going to try and establish the run game, and it's not going to work. And even if it does, the run game doesn't put up points. Like I said, you don't have a Walter Payton. Those days are over. The days of those guys are over, and a lot of it is because of how shitty the rules are in this game nowadays. But with that being said, you don't have a Saquon Barkley, you don't have a Todd Gurley, you don't have a guy like that who comes close to having that kind of production the way guys did running the ball back then. This team cannot run the football well consistently. They can run it well at times, but not consistently. You know whose team could? Gary Kubiak. But what was the out on him? He can't pass the ball. His passing game sucks. He doesn't pass the ball. It's the same thing. We hired the same coach who still doesn't know what to do with the tools he has. And granted, Kubiak at least had an excuse. He didn't have a quarterback, and he had one good wide receiver his entire time here.
But look when he had a good wide receiver and went to other places and won Super Bowls.
Exactly.
The same.
So this guy that we have, at the helm right now, I don't even want to bash him and call him a moron and this and that. I mean, I don't know him outside of football. I don't even know him in football, but from what I see, what he's doing every week with this team, with the stuff he has, I don't understand how a guy who's been in this league for years, years doesn't know what to do with this kind of personnel. Literally, you have 2 all-pro wide receivers and a Deshaun Watson. That alone should guarantee you at least 11 wins. And I don't even think we hit that this season.
Yeah. I'm actually curious, where's H Train at? See in the chat?
The chat is silent other than April. April has said one thing and said she was the closest with her score prediction. Other than that, no one has said anything in the chat.
How many people we have in the chat?
4 right now.
So if H Train is
5.
on the chat.
Now we're at 5. So
if H Train is on the chat, I would like to know.
H Train's here. He says yep.
Are you still confident like you were last week based on what you saw today?
Look, I'm not here to bash anyone. You can say what you want. You can take what you want from this game. But at this point, if you are still riding O'Brien's nuts after this game, you don't know what you're looking at. I'm sorry. You don't know what you're looking at.
And I'm not trying to target anyone. I'm just saying because I know he was very confident.
There's a lot of guys in the chat over the past few weeks have been confident in these guys.
Exactly. So and I'm not just that's just because I know he's one of the guys that's been watching my stuff for a long time. So it's just his name that I brought out there. But it's a legitimate question. Anyone in the chat, not just H Train, anyone in the chat, do you feel confident going to the playoffs with this team, with this coach at the helm? Like, just be honest about it.
Here's what H Train said. He said yes for the rest of year, no for today because Patriots lost, KC almost lost. It's one game.
H Train, it was the most important game of the year, bro.
Yeah.
If you win this game, you win the division, essentially.
Yeah.
Like,
you win this game, you can lock it up, and New England freaking lost today. You're in the 2nd seed.
Exactly.
You're in the 2nd seed. Everything that needed to happen went the way it needed to for these guys, and they shit the bed. Not only in the most important game of the season, everything went your way. Do you realize what that means? A bye week in the playoffs. A bye week in the playoffs. That is not just something that they hand out. I mean, and this is with this schedule and with the way these guys are playing, that is as close as a handout as you can get. And you screwed it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
H Train says Colts are not winning out. Neither are we. So
well, neither are we. I mean, I'm not even worried about the playoffs because I personally don't feel like we're going to do anything anyways. But now I'm more worried about, do we get to the playoffs? Even, okay, for example, think about it. Let's say we go 2-3 last game, so that means we're 10-6. There are other teams out there that could be 10-6 that could even have a tiebreaker over us. If we don't win our division, we don't even make the freaking playoffs. Like, I'm not a big – I don't really ever hope for the Titans in any way, shape, or form, but I need the Titans to beat Jacksonville now. But we still have to go out and beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville just blanked the team we played today. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand. You see this? How this is not a problem? That's baffling to me. I don't know.
H Train says 9-1 and a loss does not mean it's over and they won't wake up. Is the Patriots fans saying it's over because they lost to Miami?
Well, they don't. They have Tom Brady and a great coach. The differences are quite big, honestly.
Not to mention they already have a win this season over Kansas City. They've beaten proven teams, and when we play Houston, and when we play someone of significance, we either lose or we're handed the game. Even at that, the one good team we played this season won, and the argument could be made for the Colts as well. We lost. When we played a hot Andrew Luck, we lost.
Yep.
So I don't understand. I mean, I understand it from – I used to be that guy We can be 0-16 and I'll still find the positive. But at this point, with this roster, with this talent, there's just no excuse, man. There's no excuse. And we have to be realistic here. You only set yourself up for even bigger disappointment when you get your hopes up this high. These guys aren't winning anything. First round exit, I guarantee you, regardless of who they play, they can win out. They can win out. The next 3 games, they're gonna lose. They're the almost team, and they always will be until they fix the coaching. H-Train says, I'm not arguing what you're saying, Ray. Today was awfully bad, but we lost by 3, and I can assure you Colts are not catching us. I don't know. I think it's very possible we lose out, and they could win out if they want to.
I have more faith in the Colts than I do the Texans.
Me too. And it's purely because of their quarterback play and their coaching.
Their head coach. I mean, Jesus,
just look at all of the Super Bowl contenders right now. What do they all have in common? Take away the players. They have great coaching. Sean Payton, Andy Reid, the young man in Los Angeles, his name McVay. He calls great games. He has an offense that can produce points, and he knows how to use them. Belichick, I think he's overrated as hell, but he calls an offense that fits his personnel.
Right.
If Belichick had a running-based team, he'd run the ball, and he'd probably be successful with it.
And
but
he has. He's not even calling the offensive plays. McDaniels is.
Exactly.
Not only that, but he puts the personnel in position to succeed. That's part of being a head coach. Bill O'Brien does not do that. He's never done that. And I'm almost convinced he never will do that.
I don't want to have this a short show. So, we've pretty much said our piece. I really don't know what more there is that we can say at this point.
Right.
So guys, if you have something, particular you want to discuss or the debate, throw it out there. Ray, if you
I've got some stuff.
Okay, let's hear it.
Man.
Let's hear it.
All right. So, and I'm talking mainly, and I'll ask John, but I'm talking to everyone in the chat too, okay, about this particular issue that I've got. I was kind of talking about this with some people on the round table for Soft Sports. Let's say they do clean house. So by some miracle, O'Brien is told by Cal, I need you to bring me an offensive coordinator. I don't want you calling the plays anymore. Mm-hmm. And we get rid of Rack. Who are your candidates for OC and DC?
Norv Turner and Lovie Smith.
Well, those are 2 great choices, John.
And those could be head coaches, either one of them.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy.
Oh, McCarthy. Yeah, I forgot he was released by the Panthers.
McCarthy would be a great OC. And here's why I think he would be a great OC. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Mike McCarthy in an NFL draft room doesn't have some kind of say with Gaines or even McNair or even O'Brien when this guy drafts perennial offensive line talent. Every damn year. Every damn year they find a freaking gem or someone that's up and coming that takes a couple years to develop. The Patriots O-line, for the most part, Packers O-lines for the most part, has been pretty solid most of Aaron Rodgers' career. He just hadn't had very good elite weapons around him. That's been the only knock against the Packers. But as far as offensive linemen, there's like Bakari, like Beluga, dude, I can go down the list of people that they pick up in the draft. You mean to tell me that Mike McCarthy can come in here as an offensive coordinator and say, Brian, Bill, let me tell you something. I think we should draft this guy at O-line. I think he'll help protect our assets, and we can make this happen. Because you have to remember, we're getting back Will Fuller next year. We're getting back Kiki next year. You'll have Kiki, Will Fuller, DT, and Hop.
And you're still going to run the ball.
Along with our tight ends. But if you bring Mike McCarthy on here, and Bill has been forced to relinquish the reins, Packers pass to open up the run. They don't run to open up the pass. It'll be a completely different offense. And it might be the most successful offense we'd ever have in our franchise history. That's just McCarthy. That's just me trying to sell the McCarthy vibe. I'm not saying he's like a savior or anything like that, and I'm definitely not saying he's going to be the head coach. But we have to get an OC in here. I'm convinced Sean Ryan will never be an OC for this team. As much as people rant and rave about him, including Mr. Bill himself, I'm convinced as long as Bill O'Brien's here, he will not be an OC. Just put it out there, okay? Not only that, as far as DC goes, again, Lovie Smith, for the personnel we have, if we ran a 4-3 or 4-6 base defense, it would be insane because his Tampa cover 2 defense is would be nasty for our defense. It would be disgusting for our defense. And if that's not blowing up your skirt, people forget Chuck Pagano's a defensive coordinator. His brother's already on staff for the Texans. You mean to tell me they may not call Chuck and say, "Hey, Chucky, come show me what you can do with your 4-3." Because for years,
and a guy who knows Andrew Luck.
Yes, and a guy who knows the enemy. Hello? Why can't see the other teams in our division do that shit? Tennessee does it. Indianapolis has done it for years. Jacksonville, hell, they went and snagged Bouye right from under your nose. You see what I'm saying? Like other teams do in our division, we just don't. For whatever damn reason, I don't know why. Don't you think those guys would have some insight on what their team is about and what their weak points and strong points may or may not be? So my question remains: as OC or DC, who would you want? See, because to me, it would hinge on I want someone who is a up and coming savant as a coordinator. What I mean by that is someone who is a defensive coordinator that is not stuck in their prideful ways, like a Romeo Cornell or a Wade Phillips or Dick LeBeau or someone of that nature. I'm talking, and I don't even know if there's a defensive coordinator out there right now. Because all this is leading to my point, or so an observation that I've made. My observation is, like John has said numerous times. We've both said it, but he said it in particular a number of times. This is a passing team, or this is a passing NFL. Those old days are over with. So you need to find a defensive coordinator that has great coverage schemes and blitz packages that are not just solely focused on the pass rush. We don't need to focus on our pass rush. We have a pass rush, even though it was not on display today, but I digress. For the most part, we have a really good pass rush. I need someone who can come in and coach up my secondary and my linebackers in coverage. I need disguised blitzes. I need you to run delay blitzes with Bernardrick McKinney earlier when you have the lead versus later when you're trailing. Things of that nature. I need someone who's going to have balls. Mike Vrabel was not going to be that guy. I personally cannot think of a defensive coordinator other than maybe Lovie Smith that would probably bring that kind of aspect to this team. But even that's a stretch, as much as I love Lovie Smith. Even that's a stretch, right? So you have to think about it. Let me put it to you another way. Who is the Sean McVay of the defensive coordinator position right now in the NFL?
That's tough.
And that is tough because I don't think there's one that exists.
Me neither. You'd have to probably dig into college for that one. And
even then, that's hard to find. The point is, this game is geared towards offense, period. Doesn't matter if there's running or passing. So you may need to find someone who has defensive savant genius level shit that is doing things on defense that other defenses can't do. And let's be honest, it's very hard because offensive, formations can always shift, but the defense has to adjust to the offense. So it kind of puts you back into those base kind of formations. So whether you run a 3-3-5 or 4-6 or 4-4 or, 4-6 bear or 3-4 diamond, or it didn't matter. There's all kinds of defenses that can be ran and even disguised. But who's the one coordinator that comes to your mind when you go, wow, with our kind of talent and maybe add a corner to our secondary, we could be deadly. And off the top of my head, no one really comes to mind.
Right off the bat, it's like, even, and I'm not trying to dismiss your question, like we said already, it's hard to think of someone, you can't even go to college and think of a guy who you could bring in as a D coordinator. But
no,
defense at this point, like I've said, throw it out the window, man, because it's a passing league. It's an offensive league. Look at New England. New England's defense, they're not world beaters. Look at the Rams. Although they have a great personnel like us, they have given up a lot of points.
Yep.
The Chiefs, awesome offense, absolutely terrible defense. So as long as you can put up the points against any team you take the field against, like a Kansas City, like a New England, like a Los Angeles, you don't need to worry about the defensive side of the ball, because Kansas City, they're first seed right now. New England, they're probably going to end up first seed when it's all said and done. Rams, they're probably locked into first seed in the NFC at this point. Same thing with the Saints. They don't have a world-beating defense, but they have Drew Brees, they have Sean Payton, and they have a system that works for them on offense, and it keeps them in games, and they're a Super Bowl contender. So I say screw defense at this point. Get an offensive coordinator. Get you an offensive coordinator. I like what you said about Mike McCarthy, actually. It sold me a bit on him. I would like a Mike McCarthy in here calling the plays, who's going to have, a little more of a say, or a, what's the word I'm looking for, like a veteran presence in the war room when it comes to draft time and things like that. And you're going to actually look to him for, advice and things like that. A guy that can actually look at and identify top tier talent. I think that's an excellent idea, and I think he would definitely put our offense in a position where they don't have to run to open up the pass, but like you said, pass to open up the run. I think that is a great mentality to have in today's NFL, and I think the perfect example of guys who pass to open up the run are the Saints.
Yep.
I think that is a perfect example. So I do like that idea, and if right now, realistically, if I had my choice, if Bill O'Brien after this season says, all right, I need to make a change before I get my ass fired, I'm firing Rack, I'm going to hire Mike McCarthy as my offensive coordinator, and I'm going to hire Chuck Pagano as my defensive coordinator, and I will, as shitty as I am doing it, I will solely focus on game management. That is my ideal scenario. Like we said before, I don't think it happens. I think this guy is too stubborn that he's going to do what he does until he gets fired, which will probably take 2 or 3 seasons.
Right.
But even at that, even with lackluster coaching, this roster's so good that you might consistently get 9-7 into the playoffs for the next 2 or 3 years. Right. And maybe the owner, the new owner, Cal, is that his name? Cal McNair?
Yeah, Cal McNair.
Maybe he'll be fed up with consistency and being mediocre, and he'll finally decide to pull the trigger on firing O'Brien. But again, this is going to be our first year with Cal, so we don't know his tendencies. We don't know what he expects, what he doesn't expect. This is going to be a very this is just a learning year.
Game.
Yeah, this is a learning year for us. So it's another, not rebuild, but close to it in the sense, in an ownership aspect. So we have
on a side note, bro, I gotta say, I think Bill O'Brien doesn't want an OC, but he wants to call the offensive players because, one, I think he's scared that someone might take his job. I honestly think that's why Vrabel took off.
Yeah,
because they were talking about he being the next head coach, and next thing you know, he's gone, which I'm not upset about, but I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example. His boy Godse, he fires because he was a horrible coordinator. So then Godse goes, and now you bring Sean Ryan in. Sean Ryan essentially looks like he has no say in the offense whatsoever. So you bring in a guy like Mike McCarthy, and then what's he going to do? O'Brien's probably going to be scared about his job. You see it? I honestly think it's a pride thing with him. Honestly.
Yeah. Let's read some things in the chat, because now we got Danny in the mix.
Danny!
H-Train, let me see. Where did we leave off with you? I'm not arguing you read that. You know I got a jersey coming to me. We are going to be okay.
I'm feeling pretty confident in my bet right now.
I think it's just me today. Everyone is upset over the loss and decided not to show up. Oh, he's talking about not people not being that active in the chat. Let me see. How sweet would it be if the Eagles beat Dallas, who the media is praising, and we go and beat the Eagles? At this point, I don't even think we're going to beat the Eagles, man.
No, we're not.
Danny, finally, he's here. He says, 9-7, Miami Miracle. If Adam Gase gets fired, please, for the love of God, call. Oh, Cal, get him in the coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been.
I wouldn't mind Adam Gase here.
I wouldn't mind him either. But it has been. It has been a stressful past few hours.
Yeah, man.
Adam Gase, I wouldn't mind him here. Adam Gase, another guy. He knows what to do with his personnel. Regardless that he may have some shitty guys over there in Miami, he passes the ball.
What did he do with Brock Osweiler today?
Was it Osweiler or Tannehill? I think Tannehill played today.
I think Osweiler came in midway through and brought him back and won. 0-17.
Those were fun times.
Oh, not really.
Oh man. You know what? Let's I know we're a Houston Sportscast, but I'm okay. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. H-Train just said something. We played our worst game in 9 wins. What makes you think we will not forget about this loss? We played our worst game in 9 wins. What makes you think we will not forget about this loss?
I think what he's trying to say is what makes you think we're worried about this loss.
The fact that this is one of the better offenses that you have played since week 1.
Yeah.
And
it was a pretty much season clinching playoff spot, and you shit the bed.
When it mattered most, you lost.
You didn't show up. Yeah.
April says Houston usually tanks the next game after a big upset loss. Yeah, I mean,
on Saturday night, no less.
H-Train says not with Watson, April.
Watson looked like crap today. I wouldn't put anything in.
He did not have a good game.
You know, if he would have hit Hopkins on that wide open post route.
Oh, that's the one I was talking about.
That there's a great possibility this game would have been different.
Yep.
Like, seriously, I'm not just something as simple as that.
Okay, let's take, just because I want to kind of reset and not be so pissed off right now, let's look through some headlines from around the league. So Ben Roethlisberger exits his game against the Raiders with a rib injury. I don't know the significance of it right now, but he threw for 164 yards and a touchdown in the first 2 quarters before he exited. Not that I think they'll do anything with it. If he's out for the rest of the year, which I don't think he is, Ben is a tough dude. That would be good for Houston if they met up with the Steelers in the playoffs. But at this point, I'm doubting if they could even beat his backup.
Other news: Sam Darnold went out early in the Jets game.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? I saw that actually. Chiefs clinched a playoff spot with an overtime win against the Ravens. Now here's another interesting thing. I didn't see the game, and I'm assuming Lamar Jackson started at quarterback, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I'm guessing the majority of their offense came from Lamar Jackson running the ball. And that's
that I couldn't tell you.
So I don't know that. If anyone saw the game, let me know. But I'm guessing that Lamar Jackson's running was what made that game so competitive. So that's an interesting thing to think about. If we were to match up with the Ravens, who are led by Lamar Jackson, I would honestly much rather face Flacco than Lamar Jackson, because Houston's defense does struggle mightily with mobile quarterbacks.
Hell, look at Andrew Luck. He's not that mobile and still was torching Houston on the ground, for Christ's sake, today.
Alex Smith, not the fastest guy ever either, still was running on us before we broke his leg. So, man, it's crazy. It looks like all the real top contenders are clinching their divisions. The Saints clinched theirs today.
That was
Honestly,
a scary game, though.
yeah, it was. It looked for a long time like Tampa Bay was going to do it again. But again, even if we would have won today, we wouldn't have officially won. But come on, we would have won the division. The Cowboys reportedly try to lure Jason Witten out of retirement.
Christ.
Oh, man.
Leave that man alone. He's done enough.
You know what? Let's talk about something interesting that happened over the week. Did you see about Kareem Hunt with the video? What did you think about that?
I think he screwed up, and they caught it on tape, and he's going to get the Ray Rice treatment.
Here's my thing, and it's going to probably be an unpopular opinion. Yes, what he did was unacceptable. Yes, he should have immediately been released. The Chiefs handled it the way they should have handled it.
Correct.
Do I think he should never get to play again in the NFL the same way as Ray Rice? No, I do not. Ray Rice beat the shit out of his wife and drug her unconscious body in an elevator. Kareem Hunt was reportedly called the N-word, lost his cool, shoved the lady. She fell, hit her head into a wall. I doubt that was his intention to render her unconscious with her head running into a wall. Regardless, you don't shove a lady. And then he came back and he kicked her in the thigh. It didn't look hard, but whatever. You know, it really didn't look hard to me. And everyone's making this big deal about, oh, he wants to sign to an NFL team as a kicker or whatever, making jokes and stuff. Honestly, I think the worst thing that happened in that entire situation was the shove that knocked her out because she was clearly unconscious for a few seconds. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to defend him. But I don't think the man's career should be over. I don't. I think he should be given another chance with a team next season. Obviously, no one's going to sign him this year with all how fresh it is right now. But there is a big difference between what he did and what Ray Rice did. Ray Rice acted like a garbage human being. Kareem Hunt was called something very disgusting and vulgar, and he reacted. His anger got the best of him. But I do think the lady in the situation should face some repercussions as well, because she obviously instigated the incident, and she kept pushing his buttons and kept, furthering the confrontation. And I think she should also have to face some repercussions legally or at her place of work. Do I think it'll happen? No. I think, in this day and age, a certain, women in these situations are a little bit coddled, but I won't get into that too deeply. But I don't think that this man should be, barred from the league for the rest of his career. I just don't. I think there's a huge difference between, when you're comparing it between Ray Rice and Kareem Hunt. I think there's a huge difference between what happened. Like I said, I think the Chiefs handled it perfectly. But I don't think he should be left out of the league for the rest of his career. I just don't.
I don't either. And the reason I said Ray Rice is because he never played football again.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by that.
Yeah. Let's read some comments. Let me see. Danny says, the Arizona Coyotes rumored to go to the Toyota Center. What?
Oh. Houston Coyotes? That's not too bad. I don't mind that.
H-Train says 16-9 Cowboys. Danny says, Clowney got clowned. Yeah, he did. April says, I think a female owns Houston's XFL team. I don't know. I think the owners.
She just sent me an attachment about that, dude. I didn't get to see it though.
I think so my understanding is the XFL owns all of the teams.
Right.
And the head coach will serve as both head coach and general manager. So each team doesn't have an owner. They're all owned by the XFL.
Yeah.
April says ladies don't call people the N-word. Danny says lady was asking for it. Bob White Powder. I would sign him this season if possible to the Texans. I don't know about this season, but I wouldn't be opposed to it maybe next year.
Bob, stay off the white powder. They don't do that. Come on, man.
Danny says, I can go up to some random woman, tap her in her shoulder. Oh my goodness, he's raping me. That's pretty much the culture today.
That's the world we live in, man, unfortunately.
H-Train. He was wrong but deserves a chance. Peterson beat his kid, which was bad. See, I don't know too much about the Adrian Peterson thing. My parents beat the shit out of me when I was little. And
I did too.
And you know, it was for correction. They never like beat me with a damn pipe or something like that, but I was hit with belts,
switches.
Yeah, like
chancla.
Yeah, the chancla.
The big chancla.
The chancla.
Yeah, the infamous chancla. Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about.
But I mean, I don't think you should tell people how they parent their child. But again, I don't know the particular details of the Peterson case, so I couldn't tell you. But if he just hit his kid, you know, with a switch or a belt, get off it. He's parenting his kid. That's basically asking for CPS to get involved, Danny says. Again, I don't know the situation with Peterson. Peterson kid is a damn 6-year-old. Big difference, yo. Again, started early so it doesn't get out of control when they're older. Go stick a fork in an electrical socket. I bet you won't do it again.
Yeah. Touch a hot stove. Bet you don't do it again.
Bob White Powder says Adrian Peterson did nothing wrong in my opinion.
I tend to agree with you, honestly.
Yeah. April says, well, a female was holding the Houston jersey in a promo pic. Oh, I think that was that lady who said that that George Bush would be happy if he knew that that Houston was getting an XFL team.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's still the question on my mind, dude. Like, what would they be called?
I don't know. I think
we need to run a top 5 list, dude.
For the XFL team name?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we got time. We should probably do it right now.
Okay.
Chat.
Let me see.
Give us 3 names that you think the Houston XFL team should be called. Here's the criteria. It has to have something to do with Houston. Like, it can't be like the Houston Skylines or something like that. Like, nothing stupid like that. Like,
and you can't use the Oilers. Something that's legally. You can't use the
Oilers because that's not going to happen. Let's be real. No love you below here.
The first thing that Danny types is Oilers.
Fuck's sake, man. Come on, dude.
And Arrows.
Actually, I wouldn't be against the Arrows, but it's been used. So
yeah. The Houston Satellites.
I
mean, it makes sense, but it sounds like that's a pussy name. I'm sorry.
I guess that's the other criteria. It has to make sense and strike fear into the competitor.
Yeah.
Like the Houston Pride. I don't know.
Let me see. The Houston Shuttles.
Jesus. That almost hurts me, dude.
Oh, man.
That's funny, though. This is a serious conversation, you dickheads. Get it right. Start putting some good stuff out there.
Houston Waves. This is unrelated. This is more of the last segment, but Bob White Powder says, I remember what kind of kid I was, and I more than earned my ass whoopings.
Shit, who you telling?
The Ray Rays. That's from H-Train.
Man. Only if.
Bob White Powder is making me laugh today. The Houston Convicts.
Damn.
I wouldn't be opposed to that name, honestly, but I think it'd be a little racially insensitive to some people.
Dude, I got it. Dude. You ready?
All right, let's see it.
The Houston Blast.
I'm not opposed to that, actually.
Well, let's be honest with you. One of the most popular gangs in Houston might get on board with that. Might spread the word. I'm just saying. Marketing.
Danny says the Houston Stampede, the Houston Rednecks, April says the Houston Hurricanes, but Danny points out the Hurricanes is already used by an NHL team.
Yeah, we can't use that one.
H Train says the Cowgirls. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, hell no. That's a slander, sir.
I'm trying to think of one myself. By the way, guys, check out xflnews.com. I am loosely affiliated with the site at this point. More information will be coming soon. But definitely check out xflnews.com if you are seriously interested in, all jokes aside, if you are seriously interested in the XFL and keeping up with the latest on it, xflnews.com. Please go check it out.
Your boy Ray might do some stuff on it.
Let me see. Bob White Powder. Why is it racist? Why is what racist? The Houston Convicts? Well, look at how mad people got when McNair screwed up and said the inmates running the asylum or the inmates running the prison. He said the prison. Convicts in a sport that is dominated largely by African Americans that might get, again, it might be considered racially insensitive. Although I don't think so. I don't think it is because I think it's a cool, intimidating name. But some people might take issue.
The Houston Mean Machine.
Mean Machine from fucking Longest Yard. I like it. Let me see. Houston Cowboys. No, sir. Go away, Danny.
No.
Houston Apollos. Houston Mustangs. I like Mustangs. I like the Mustangs. I was a Mustang in high school. I like Mustangs. Houston PD. That's actually pretty cool. Houston PD. I know was joking, but how about the Torpedoes?
I actually wouldn't be against that.
Me neither. It's pretty cool. Are convicts only of one race? I get it, man. I'm right there on that same boat with you. It's just in today's culture, having to worry about PR and stuff like that. It's a no-go.
Again, the world we live in, man.
The Houston Mario Karts. Guess who that one's from?
April.
Yep.
I know that.
Let me see. John, what school was you a Mustang? Memorial High School.
Mustang Sally, no baby.
Danny.
I like Stampede. I like Houston Blast. I like what's some of the other ones? I'm not too against the Apollos, but that's too close to Rockets, honestly.
The Houston Hellcats. That's from Danny. And then he says the Houston Comets. Isn't that a female team?
That's a female basketball team. That's the Houston Comets. That's a women's professional basketball team.
The Houston McNairs. With how proud he'd be that we have an XFL team, why not just call it the Bushes?
Houston Bushes?
Yeah, the Houston Bush or the Houston Bush.
That can go south so quick, dude.
The Houston Bush.
The Houston Bush. Oh, my God. He's already got an airport. Leave the man alone.
H-Train says the Terror. The Houston Terror? I mean, with an XFL, in the XFL, those are kind of probably the names you're going to get. Something like Terror. The Houston Senators.
The Houston Tycoons.
That's not a bad one. Let me see. April says, "Tell them why, though, James." I don't know.
She's talking about the Houston star from Mario Kart. Okay, so April thinks that every Houston driver is driving like they got the star from Mario Kart.
That is a very fine comparison, especially on my way back.
That's what I told her.
Especially on my way back from the game today. Good Lord, people do not know how to drive in this city. Houston Lightning, Houston Scorch, Houston Typhoon, the Houston Gunslingers.
Scorch. I actually like that one. What about Houston Roughnecks? Or is that too racial?
I don't know about that one. Hang on. I'm gonna dim my. You'll still be able to hear me, but I'm gonna dim my camera just for a second. I gotta get something done.
Dimming the camera, but I still see you.
Yeah, you will. They won't.
Scorch was a good one, dude. I liked Scorch.
Houston Blades, the Houston Chicagos, the Houston Mexicans. Okay, now we're just getting silly.
Oh yeah, no, Houston Banditos.
Houston Banditos.
Yay! Hi. Say hi.
Let me see. Houston Bobcats.
No. 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 You know they're playing. They're playing in the University of Houston Stadium.
Yeah. I saw the press conference when they were talking about it. Everything.
I don't like that. I think that's stupid.
Why?
Not Houston Stadium.
I mean,
why not? Look, here's an idea. They've been talking about this whole time. Why not the Astrodome?
I honestly thought they were going to use the new Katy Stadium that everyone was complaining about with the taxes being raised in the local area and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not opposed to the U of H Stadium, but I do know other cities got bigger ones, like New Jersey, or the New York team will be playing at MetLife.
Yep.
But again, obviously they weren't going to play at NRG.
No.
Toyota.
Play the Astrodome. I'm telling you, dude, the Astrodome.
I don't think the XFL is a big enough market yet to play at the Astrodome. I think give it a few seasons, let it gain popularity. If it can get to the level that I think it could get to this time around, especially with a guy like Oliver Luck at the helm, I think the Astrodome is a definite possibility because that'd be pretty cool. And then you can have like tours with some old Love You Blue stuff all around. I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool, and it can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Let me see. Houston Sparks, Houston Vision, Houston Thunderstrucks. April says Houston Chicharron.
Chicharron.
Bob Whitepowder, the good old boys, and we can play the theme from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh my God.
Danny says
That's
the
funny.
Houston Bluecoats. Oh man, you guys have some good ones. I'm not gonna lie. Of all of them, though, I think Mean Machine is probably my favorite.
No shit.
April says the Houston Trumps.
God. That'll go over well.
You know what, though? It might, because I think a lot of people who boycotted the NFL for the anthem stuff will probably be tuning into the XFL, so giving them names like that might not be a terrible idea. Let me see. The Rivals. The Houston Rivals. Yeah, there's a lot of good ideas out there in regards to team names. I'm excited for it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I really am excited for the XFL.
I am too. I want them to have a good color scheme, good uniforms, right? And I want them to have a good name. That it's like when you have to make your like Madden team or whatever the case may be. You know, like when you move them to like a different city or something like that, and you got to pick the uniforms. Like that. I just don't want them to screw that up.
No, yeah, me too. Bob Whitepowder is slowly becoming my favorite guest on the show. He says, yes, the Trumps, and our defense would be called the Wall.
Jesus.
I love you, Bob Whitepowder. Danny says, actually, no change the Houston Coyotes to Houston Arrows.
Yeah, for NHL. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Oh, man. Yeah, what's really interesting to me is I know that the XFL really wants to, incorporate hard-hitting smash-mouth football. They want football to be football, what it used to be. Right. And I think it's interesting that they have a guy in Oliver Luck who he sees things from both sides. From the side of he's an old school guy who probably misses seeing that kind of style of play, but he's also the father of an NFL quarterback.
The Houston Lux.
The Houston Lux. That, you know what? I wouldn't be mad at that either. Or the Houston Luck. But he's also the father of an NFL quarterback, and I'm sure he cares about his son's health. So you have a guy who's interested in both the health aspect for the players and a guy who's interested in also the quality of play. So that's another reason why I really like Luck as the choice for commissioner. I really do think he's going to do an awesome job. And I really think this I think that this rerun of the XFL is going to be a lot more successful than it was.
Yeah.
The Houston Rancheros. Oh, man.
Hey, what's that? The Houston Leches.
Oh, man. Might as well just go with the Chancla. The Houston Chancla.
Hey, I would not be against that one. Big chancla on the helmet, dude. That's a go. They can wear like chancla-style cleats. That'd be awesome, dude.
Y'all are killing me.
Their celebration could be take a chancla off and beat each other with it.
Hey, Straight says the Houston Legends.
It's not bad.
That's another interesting thing. Legends. I know in the press conference they were talking about, as long as you don't have a criminal background or whatever, you can play. But then they also said former players. So that means they're open to allowing older players to come in, like maybe a Terrell Owens, maybe a Chad Johnson, maybe a Vince Young, someone who might still have that itch to go out and compete. Maybe not on an NFL caliber level, but still be able to compete.
You can do Chad Johnson. He's been arrested before. So you can't do Vince Young. Same thing. He's been arrested before. You can't do O.J. Simpson. Unfortunately, he's been arrested before.
No, Ray. He was acquitted.
Aaron Hernandez might not be a bad idea, but he's been arrested before.
Yeah. Plus, he's kind of dead.
Oh, oh wow.
Who else? I mean. The undrafted free agents from college would be interesting.
Johnny Manziel couldn't be there.
No, he could not.
Nope.
Tebow could if he wanted to.
Tebow's about to make the Mets squad. I'm pretty sure he's happy with his baseball choice right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't see him ever coming back.
It'd be nice to see Tebow play some football again. Bo Jackson.
As scary as that is,
the man's still fighting. I mean, he still wants to fight.
Right. Like I just, as out of shape as he probably is, he'd probably still come in and just destroy people. I don't think you younger people know how dominant Bo Jackson truly was, like on every level. I've seen. This is not a joke. You can try to look this up on YouTube. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. In baseball, when you're in the batter's box and you want to take a timeout, you stick your right hand up if you're right-handed, or your left hand up just to call timeout for the ump. Now, the ump has the opportunity to either honor that timeout challenge by you, or the ball's still coming. Bo Jackson was in the middle of calling a timeout, and I'm not shitting you. In a professional baseball game against a professional pitcher in a professional park, hit a home run with one fucking hand. One hand. Yep. That's the legend of Bo Jackson.
Yep.
The stuff that he did was ridiculous on diamond and on the pitch, on the football field.
How about Brett Favre?
I think he's too much. I think he's done.
Yeah.
Dan Marino. I wouldn't be against Dan Marino coming in. I think he could still hum it, actually.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of big names.
Probably.
Like, I'm going to say maybe at least one or two big names.
What about Darrelle Revis?
I mean, he's going to be instantly the best in that league by far.
Never know. Maybe. I still think the XFL is a good idea, and I really think the NFL should be worried about it and it's, again, undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
They not only them, but the CFL and the Arena League, they all need to be put on notice, because if this thing takes off like it probably can, they're going to be snagging from people left and right.
Yeah. This league hasn't even launched yet, and it's already more popular than the Canadian League and then
the Arena League.
The Arena League, the Lingerie Football League. Whoa. What was that?
Someone trying to call in.
Oh.
My son was probably trying to call in and do a video chat.
Okay, wow, we have a lot more name suggestions. Let me see. The Houston Brawlers, the Houston Deplorables.
Jesus.
Houston Galaxies, Houston Nebulas, Houston Wranglers. April says, I love him. I think she's talking about Bo Jackson. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Houston Cannons, AAF. I'm not sure what that is. Houston Blue Stars. I'm not opposed to the Galaxies or the Nebulas. I think with the space connotation here, that kind of fits. But yeah, man, XFL.
Give me a second.
Yeah, go for it. XFL. I'm excited for it. I'm finally glad that I'm gonna have an alternative once the season's over, and then I'm also glad that they plan on starting it immediately after the Super Bowl. American Alliance of Football New League. Is that the one that's going to be on? I think it's NBC. I think NBC already picked it up or something like that. It's going to be in. I know that there's another league that's going to start next year, but I believe they are already partnered with the NFL for like developmental players or something like that. That's just from what I heard right off the bat. I could be wrong. But the AAF that you're talking about, Danny, I think the reason it doesn't have so much buzz is because it's already kind of linked up with the NFL. I could be wrong though. Houston Honchos, Houston Chihuahua. Oh man. Let me see, because I'm not sure. Let me see. I'm not sure where Ray went. I'll dim his camera out for now. Let's see. Will it be in the off season? Yes, it will be in the off season. It's supposed to start immediately after the Super Bowl in 2020. So the XFL is supposed to kick off, I think, a few days, if not a few weeks after the NFL Super Bowl ends that year. Danny, the Houston Wolves. I don't know, man. Wolves? What does that have to do with Houston? I mean, a lot of these don't have to do with Houston, but things like Wranglers, Nebulas, Galaxies, Outlaws, those are all very Texan-y, rather very Southern. A lot of these could also be for the Dallas team, because Dallas is also getting a team. So Dallas might snag some of these ideas up too. The Houston Knights. Okay, Knights, you spelled it Knights as in nighttime. I think you mean Knights as in like, Knights. Old-timey Knights. That's what a K. But even at that, what does that have to do with Texas or Houston? Houston Confederates. Houston Confederates. Oh, man. I don't know about that one, y'all. I don't know. I still like, even though it kind of goes against what I was saying, that it has nothing to do with Houston. I kind of like Mean Machine. But again, the space theme, I don't mind Galaxies or Nebulas. I think Galaxies sound a little better. The movie we had called Houston Knights. Okay. Brawlers is my favorite. Yeah, Brawlers is a good one too. A little intimidating. Let me check on James. Let me see. Okay, he's still in the call, so he's still here. We'll wait on him. Houston Matadors. Oh man, y'all are crazy.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, he's back. There he is. Houston Dazed, and they could put up all right whenever they score.
Good God.
That's from April.
Of course it is.
But yeah, I was just saying, I'm glad that the XFL is an alternative once the NFL regular season finishes, because they announced that that league is expected to kick off in February of 2020, which is immediately after the Super Bowl. So it's like you don't have to really wait that much longer to get some football in your life.
Nice.
Because those are probably the most boring months of the year.
Oh, it's so bad.
I mean, I know we bitch and moan about how bad the Texans are, but at least they're playing. I mean,
again, just because we bitch does not make us fans. I will say that.
Yeah. Houston strong. I think that's overused.
So do you have a top 5?
Yeah, I can probably do it off the top of my head just by scrolling through here. Mean Machine's my number 1.
I can't go with that one, dude.
I like Galaxies. I like Outlaws. I like Brawlers. And I like, as controversial as it might be, Confederates. I think that's pretty funny. I think Galaxies is probably...
Galaxy is used. That's another WNBA name.
Oh, good Lord. See, these women's sports are ruining it for us.
Well,
what is your top 5?
In no particular order off the top of my head. I like Blast. Okay. Houston Blast. Houston Stampede. But again, that's so close to Texans in the Bull. I'll take that one out. Houston Scorch was pretty badass. I like that one.
Yeah, Scorch was pretty good.
I'd actually have to put Mean Machine on there too. I'm not too opposed to that one. And I actually do like the Houston Luck, believe it or not, because I think there's a lot you could do with that.
Yeah, the Luck.
Yeah, I think there's a lot you could do with that. So, and my last one, name them off real quick. Just go down the list.
What do you mean? That's
go down. That was it. That was all of them.
Of mine?
No, on chat.
Oh, well, there's a bunch from the chat. I mean, they have Scorpions, Asteroids, Apaches, Houston Strong, Matadors, Knights, Confederates, Wolves, Chihuahuas, Honchos, Blue Stars.
Oh, I know what I want. The Houston Chupacabras.
That actually, I wouldn't be mad at that one. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking.
That is so unique and not used, and it's horrifying and scary. It's all wrapped up into one. It appeals to our Hispanic brethren across the Houston area. It's perfect. Yep. It's freaking perfect. The Houston Chupacabras.
Well,
for short, Cabra.
Did you? With that, we're heading into like an hour and a half at this point. So did you have anything you wanted to talk about before we signed out?
Yes. My wife is the sponsor for the show. She does CBD oil. I'm going to turn this poster around and hold it for about 30 seconds so you can get the information all you want. It is HempWorks. I hope you can see it all. Don, can you see it all?
Go out just a little bit more.
Right there?
Yep, perfect.
As you can tell, it's HempWorks. It's we have sprays, we have creams, we have everything from $2.50 for dogs that's bacon flavor, from coffee to just your regular CBD oil. Some's with cinnamon, some's with like mint. Obviously, the website down there is www.hempworks.com or /a welch1247. Or you can go directly to her Gmail, which is CBD4U. That's the number 4 and the letter U. And me, 7224 @gmail.com. Hempalot, HempWorks, HempWorks CBD oil for health and prosperity. Again, HempWorks is an independent affiliate. My wife is the affiliate. And again, she may have some kind of special going on. As a matter of fact, she may even say it in the chat of what her special is, but go and check it out if you're having any kind of anxiety, stress over Houston loss, watching Bill O'Brien coach, things of that nature. Very helpful to be on some CBD oil. As a matter of fact, I've got my own stuff right there. I got mine. It's 500 milligram of cinnamon, and I've got my own little muscle ache rub. Man, this is some good stuff right here. This works really good. So again, if you feel free, go look at the site. It don't cost you nothing to look at the site. If you have any questions, again, address them to my wife, April. She's in the chat. And that's all I've got.
Also, in the description of our video, April has a very, very, very good offer for J&J listeners. Also, I will do you one better. I will add on to that deal. If you order something from April, email her, let her know your screen name in the chat, and we will have you on for a 10-minute segment on the show.
Boom. Drop the mic. It's done.
Talk about whatever you want. Boom. I don't care if it's XFL, NFL, NBA.
You can say
MLB.
Whatever you want. Just don't talk about beanies.
Just don't talk about the fucking beanies. As soon as you talk about the beanies, you're done. Obviously, nothing super inappropriate, like racial and just don't be an idiot. Conduct yourself properly. But we'll have you on for 10 minutes. Talk about whatever you want, and yeah.
It's a kick-ass deal, man. I
will end with a brag.
Oh shit!
I am winning my fantasy football game right now, 150.52 points to 90.98. Tom Brady got me 35 points. Amari Cooper currently has me 39. Julio Jones got me 29. I am looking real good right now, and I might win. And if I win, I will be third seed in the playoff standings, and I like my chances in the playoffs. And I'm just going to go ahead and read off my team just because I can. I have Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, James White at running back, although he's kind of been lately. Philip Lindsay, Zach Ertz, Josh Gordon, Greg Zuerlein is my kicker, and I have Carolina's shitty defense. I have some productive guys on the bench, like Njoku, who I hardly use because I have Ertz. Boyd from Cincinnati, who's actually been stepping up because, Green's out for the year. So solid team. I'm hoping I can make a nice, I'd be happy with second or third in the playoffs, to be honest with you. It's been a while since I've done anything of significance in fantasy football. I'm like the Bill O'Brien of fantasy football.
Oh God, you went there.
Yeah. So with that being said, H-Train's already bragging. I'm winning 2 leagues. Well, screw you, H-Train. Let me have my moment. You don't have to steal my moment.
It's not a pissing contest, gentlemen. Jesus.
Danny says, I'm looking at a beanie. Let's talk about beanies.
Jesus.
We're done. Okay.
Yeah. Danny.
You know what? We're not done. Give me a prediction for the Jets game before we go.
Oh, God. Do I have to right now?
I mean, we're not going to be back on until probably after, unless you want to do another show later this week.
They're playing at the Jets, right?
They're playing at Jets.
Short week. Fuck. Houston. Oh, God, dude. Houston 28, New York 13.
And let me see. This is on the 15th. If I'm not mistaken, is that for whatever reason, is that a Saturday?
Yeah, it is.
Why are they playing on Saturday?
It's a special. I don't know.
Okay.
They're playing on Saturday.
Okay, well. I think this is going to be the only game Houston wins before the end of the season, honestly. I think this is going to be the last game they win this year. I think they lose to Jacksonville, and I think they lose to the Eagles. So I'm going to go with Houston. They'll take it. I'll go 23-17.
Boom, boom, boom.
And what was yours? Did you predict it already?
Yeah, 28-13.
Okay. So yeah, let me see. There's some predictions in here. H Train says 37-20 Houston. Yeah, I don't think Houston's putting up that many points.
Yeah.
Danny says 30 beanies, 14 Jets. One beanie for every win.
Danny, you have a problem, sir. You have a problem.
Guys, please like this video. Please like this video. If you haven't, subscribe already. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your grandma. Tell the baby that your aunt's pregnant with. Tell everybody. And until next week, we will see you guys.